Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. And I feel like Mondays now are just like, we don't know what the hell to expect. And we have another one of those shows where we don't know what the hell to expect. But before we get into content, I'd like to introduce myself. Hello there. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every single day, we're coming at you live from our beautiful studio here in the heart, Las Vegas, Nevada. We have a packed show today, guys. No guests, but we have so much to talk about. We got Nasdaq custodying crypto. We have Binance and CZ being sued and allegedly manipulating the markets. We have Polygon ZK goes live on the mainnet today. What else do we have? We have Amazon, an NFT marketplace. What? And we have so much to talk about. And is a Bitcoin bull market starting? We got a video from Forrest to showcase that. But first, before the content, here's your other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house.
Yeah, let's see that big thing. There it
Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and stale information. I can't right now, bro. Package it up. Fun, sexy way.
Yeah, we can't laugh at ourselves. Who we're going to laugh at, right?
Yeah. All right. So, anyways.
What's up, man?
27,000, man.
I heard you're amped up today.
Oh, dude, I'm juiced up, bro.
You juiced?
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot to be juiced about today.
Yeah.
A lot of juicing going on.
Yeah.
But before we get into the juice, I'd like to get into the lamb. What do I mean by that?
You said lamb?
Lamb, correct.
Like the animal?
Maybe a sheep, actually. Sheep. So here, if you're not familiar with bank bailouts and, you know, what it means, we have a video to show you exactly what the banks do with bailouts and why people are so against this. So, Rocco, please. So this is bank bailouts efficiency explained in 14 seconds. Central bank pulling them out. All right, come on, we'll help you out. All right, here's your bailout. Okay, now go on and do the right thing, all right? Get the customers whole again, and we need another bailout. This is literally my favorite video.
I feel like that's been me throughout my 20s, bro. like that was me in my 20s, bro. Straight up.
Oh, man. Exactly. That clip is never not funny. I agree, bro, Kiyoshi. Also, this is kind of interesting. So this is from Bitcoin Magazine. So every burgeoning technology, right? Every new idea, every new company that disrupts an industry, there's always pushback. And same thing happened with Uber. Taxis are saying this is a bad idea. The hotels are saying Airbnb was a bad idea. The newspapers were saying computers are a bad idea. And now banks are saying that Bitcoin is a bad idea. I wonder why. They would say Bitcoin's a bad idea. We are in my opinion, we are in the worst of it when it comes to FUD and them trying to shut Bitcoin down. We're going to cover an article talking about how the G7 countries, 7 largest economies in the world, they're coming together to talk about crypto regulation. We know the US is at the forefront of that. We know they're trying to essentially eradicate crypto from the US system. Will they succeed in convincing the other countries?
You know, I want to, before we move on from this point here, like, let's literally think about it. All right. So yeah, I know we kind of do this as a joke, but realistically, you remember if you would have went back, say 12 years ago and been like, hey man, we're not going to need taxes anymore, bro. You'd be like, what? Like, hey man, we're going to use an app and pick and drop people off personally. Everybody would be like, nah, man, we're not going to trust getting in a stranger's car. You know, that whole narrative, like, oh, it's not going to work. You're never going to get rid of taxis. Same thing with Airbnb. The newspapers, I think a lot of people saw that coming. Very, very similar to what we're seeing now with Bitcoin, but there was a lot of skepticism like, hey, man, I'm always going to get my newspaper delivered. And here we are yet again. And Bitcoin, crypto, I'm telling you, what we're seeing now if you haven't woke up to the concept yet, I mean, I'm sure you have with being in this space, watching our channel. But if you haven't realized that the banking system is flawed and it's outdated and crypto is here. This is if you came in to make some money, cool. Congratulations. If you made some or lost some, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're here now. You know you are in a better position than all the strangers out there that laugh at crypto because we're going to be the last ones laughing. We are building an arc right now. Everyone is laughing at us. You know what? It's starting to drain. It's starting to rain. They're starting to see the trickle. We got the arc. Everyone wanted to laugh at us when we're over here building this damn thing. We're over here hammering away, man. We're hammering away. We're building the damn arc. Everyone's walking by and laughing. Now it's starting to rain. People are like, hey.
Flood's not coming.
Yeah.
It's just a little rain.
Yeah, it's just a little rain, man. I'm telling you.
And then bam, tsunami.
Yeah. Hola, tsunami. That's just the hola tsunami. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so the next couple things I want to share. Rocco and I were talking about this. So there was a clip on Fox News. The former, who was it, Rocco? The former assistant secretary. We'll show that clip in a second, but here is something that worries me. This is from Bitcoin News on Twitter. CNBC has delisted the credit default swap data for 5 banks, including JP Morgan and Bank of America. Now, if you're not familiar with what a credit default swap is, it's essentially insurance. If you hold bonds, right, corporate bonds or bank bonds from, let's say, JP Morgan Chase, and you feel like there is a chance that the bank might go under, therefore you would lose your money, you can purchase essentially insurance via a credit default swap. So if the bank defaults on its debt, you would get your money back.
And this is usually, these are pretty much only accrued by institutions that are over, obviously they operate over the FDIC threshold. And so regular people aren't buying these, but this is corporations, institutions. They're the ones that essentially buy these. So,
JP Morgan, Bank of America, PNC, Wells Fargo. This information has been completely deleted. And ask yourself why, right? What happened when credit default swaps for Credit Suisse were going up? We saw last week credit default swaps for Deutsche Bank going up. And what does that cause? That causes frantic. People assume the worst and they go make a bank run. And so now we're being sheltered from information because they know the system is so fragile that if we get an inkling of a JP Morgan credit default swap going up, hey, people might start making a run on JP Morgan. Where literally the banking system is operating on matchsticks, right? And they're very frail. And a little bit of pressure on those sticks, it's going to completely crumble. Have other outlets and companies that track this data, have they done the same thing? I have not looked into it, but CNBC is a big one. And here's a 4-minute video clip that is kind of, if you're living in the US, man, this is kind of scary. But it's also good knowing that we're in the space and we understand we have release valves of if something like what I'm about to show you does happen, we know where to move our money. We can even start moving our money there now. And that place is Bitcoin. So again, this is from Fox News. Okay. They did an interview with the former I believe it was like an undersecretary or the number 2 in command at the Treasury Department. So 4-minute video, just watch this and start thinking about the ramifications this can cause, especially if you live here in the U.S.
Putin announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they're in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance.
I want to, before we move on from this, I want to point something out. The petrodollar was born out of Saudi Arabia essentially needing protection from Iran. So the U.S. said, we will provide protection and we will essentially guarantee the sovereignty of your country, but we want all of your oil that you sell denominated in U.S. dollars. Hence was born the petrodollar. Well, now if there's no conflict between Iran and Saudi Arabia, and they're in talks, and by the way, Saudi Arabia is part of BRICS, and they start talking about, hey, yeah, we'll start denominating in the yuan. Let's continue watching.
With China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency? Former Assistant Treasury Secretary and host of the Monica Crowley podcast, Monica Crowley, is here to weigh in. Monica, great to see you this morning. Let's start right there. What happens if these emerging economies move away from the U.S. dollar towards the Chinese yuan?
Well, good morning, Will. It's great to be with you. And it's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Look, there is a perfect storm happening right now, Will. The world's reserve currency being that, having that status has been a real privilege, but we've abused the privilege by wholly reckless monetary and fiscal policies over many years, certainly over the last couple of years, which has really devalued the dollar. On top of that, now you do have this perfect storm of Biden's weakness, his war on American domestic energy production, the Ukraine war, and as you point out, because of all of these things, we've got America's enemies led by China forming a new economic bloc. And all it would take at this point now, because we're at this pivotal moment, Will, is for Saudi Arabia, who has indicated that they're open to this, to say, you know what, we're going to be open to considering other currencies to trade in oil. If that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system. And if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status.
Monica, the world's reserve currency, you said it's a privilege for the United States for the dollar to have been the world's currency. How does that relate to each individual American? How has that changed or impacted or improved our lives throughout the last several decades?
I don't think we need to listen to that part. So what are your that's scary stuff, right?
Yeah. So a couple of things. You also take what is a digital yuan is already rolling out, and you know we can sit here and harp on CBDCs. We can harp on whatever the negatives to it, but you know what? When it comes to a traditional finance, hey, what moves faster, digital yuan or SWIFT? And so right there, China, the yuan. Their dominance as a competitor to world reserve currency has got a leg up. And markets are always going to move to faster and more efficient, cheaper, right? And going back to that slide we started with, like, hey, Airbnb, like, here's the thing. When somebody had a VHS tape and someone else had a DVD, the first person to have a DVD, you're like, man, you're not going to need that. People are like, hey, man, I'm going to keep my movie collection. I'm going to keep my videotape collection. And then you're like, I'm not messing around with DVDs. They're too expensive. And at the rental place, they only have a very small section of DVDs. Everything else is tapes. And yeah. Anyways, we know where that went. Same thing with CDs. Same thing with streaming. Thing is, these are more efficient. They're faster. They're going to be cheaper. It's the next leg of technology. The same thing with money, man. Same thing. Now, hopefully, we take the next step here in the States where we go to crypto and not necessarily a CBDC. But if we don't go that direction and we stay on the SWIFT system and you take a country like China, you go digital yuan, I'm telling you, it is so much more efficient. When we talk about the inefficiency of the financial system, if China essentially has a leg up on us on that, we're not rolling out crypto because regulators are just bashing it, and we're not rolling out a CBDC. We can hate it or love it, but it's at least the CBDC is at least more efficient than what we got now. 3 to 5 business days, man. That's outdated. And if you think that a country can't swap currencies a little more quicker than we used to back in the 70s, mistaken. And I think it's just out of the legacy system, right? This is how it's always been done. So countries haven't really experimented and looked outward. They haven't been like, yo, let's start a new monetary system. Let's trade in a different currency, because they haven't really needed to. The dollar has been pretty stable. But now we're seeing with monetary policy, we're threatening people by sanctioning. We're weaponizing the dollar. We have out of control inflation. And the inflation that we have here in the States is worse because we export the inflation. We print out dollars, X amount of dollars circulating around the world, a lot of it. And we reap the benefits of printing here in the States, and everyone else gets punched in the mouth. And yeah, so
here's what you guys got to remember too. And before I move on, big shout out. Around the Blockchain is in the chat.
Yeah,
we're never around the blockchain.
You know
Robin.
What? Hold on. Yeah, we'll be on Around the Blockchain today. They have pointed something out.
What?
We have 50 likes, man. Why we got 50 likes, man? What is that?
Stop.
We got like a 25% like ratio.
What?
It's terrible.
It's horrible.
Let me ask you. Have you hit the like button?
Be better.
Yeah.
It's the inflation.
Help us out. Yeah, hit the like button. All right. I want to know what the chat thinks. If you're concerned about America losing the world reserve currency, if you're concerned about there being a shift in the global monetary policy, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that America is just going to keep doing what it's doing, it's going to be the economic powerhouse for the foreseeable future, put a 2 in the chat. I'm curious to see where you guys are at. I think that we're leaning towards a collapse. I think if we embrace crypto, if we launch the CBDC, I know we just, as long as you can keep transactions private and keep the government out of it, at least the Fed now, the CBDC, it's an upgrade from the system we have. Let's embrace crypto. So that way we can have an option. Hey, you can use that trash CBDC if you want to, or you can use crypto, and let's embrace it. It's gonna be on Nasdaq. Nasdaq's gonna custody it, man. That was our thumbnail today.
What I want everyone to understand is this, right? Is the reason we're able to print so much money and not see 30, 40% inflation is because there are institutions and nation states that hold dollars in their banks. What would happen if that dominance starts to fall? And instead of 60%, we're down to 40%. All these dollars are going to flood the market on top of what we already have in the market. And that's literally what inflation is. And so be prepared, right? This is why you want to stay in the loop and watch shows like ours, because we cover this kind of stuff. And know the outlets you can go to if this thing starts happening. Because what Balaji said, and everyone's like, this dude's crazy $1 million Bitcoin. I don't think that was his key message. I think his key message was, what are the possibilities and bringing exposure to what can possibly be if the US dollar loses dominance in the world. So
I think Balaji is spot on. It's going to happen. We're going to get $1 million Bitcoin, especially at the rate that we're going. However, I just think this timeline's off, and I think he's kind of trying to send some shockwaves out by putting his money where his mouth is and say, "Hey, this is coming. Maybe it's not coming in 90 days, but maybe it's 9 months, maybe it's 9 years. I don't think it's much more than that, though. You think we'll hit $1 million Bitcoin in 9 years?
Hell yeah! We'll hit it in 5 years.
Just think about if $1 million Bitcoin, what the dollar is worth, man, right? Because I mean, you're gonna add more people to the network. You're gonna transact. People are gonna hold it more. Yes, sure, but a lot of the price action of Bitcoin is essentially correlated to the inflation of the dollar. I I mean, we're seeing it in home prices. If you bought a home for $150,000 like I did, or $120,000, and 10 years later, it's triple the value, that's inflation. I didn't make any modifications. My neighborhood didn't all of a sudden get upgraded. I didn't all of a sudden, like, they didn't build some new superstructure down the street. I live in the same damn neighborhood. Just my house can now cost 3 times more. So now inflation on homes is 3 times what it was when I bought it 12 years ago. And that's where we're going. And you know what? And if I'm scared because in 12 years, if I tripled my home value,
what is it really
and that was in a window of time where we had 2% inflation, right? With, you know, barring the last couple of years, obviously, but 2% inflation for most of that time. What is it going to look like in the next 12 years? Because in the next 12 years, I mean, when are we going to get back under 2%? Ever? I mean, I think we are, but it ain't anytime soon.
I don't know, man.
We do got a couple new people in the chat. If you're new here, say hello so that way we can drop an hola back at you. We got Tim, Shay, Luke, Great Judge, and Brian. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
All right, let's take a look at the markets and then we'll get into the news. Robin.
All right, so taking a look at Bitcoin.
USDC, nice.
Yeah, there we go. So Bitcoin sitting, just fell under 27,000 at 26,970. Started the show at above 27,000. Not too far off of where we've been. So a little pullback. If you look at the 24-hour chart, it is a pullback. If you look at the weekly, we are down for the weekly. But when you zoom out a little bit out to the month, you can see that.
You see that?
1 month ago, we were trading at 23.
Isn't that the middle finger pattern?
The middle? Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. This is the...
That's right when the banks collapsed.
This is the FU...
To the banks.
YOLO! And they just...
It does look like a middle finger.
Yeah, there it is. What is this? What was this collapse here? What happened? What happened 3.5 weeks ago?
I don't know if I'd call it a collapse, but...
Or what was this? A big sell-off?
Liquidations.
I don't remember. Anyways, so... You know, one token that has been moving. One token that said, F you, put the middle finger up as well. That would be XRP. Look at this guy. 46 cents, man. This thing is moving. And a lot of whispers going on. You know what the whispers? You know what they're whispering about? Hey, lawsuit's about to settle, baby. Lawsuit's about to be over. Lawsuit is going to come to a resolution. A solution. XRP gonna win? Or what? What do you think?
Here's the thing. What you guys gotta understand is, let's say they win, the SEC is gonna file an appeal.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. Once you win the case, you're not a security. It gets listed back on there. Boom, whatever. You can appeal all day. It's like if you get convicted of murdering somebody, you can appeal all day, but you're going straight to prison right after the verdict. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They drop the verdict, sentencing, you're out, bro. You can go. You can appeal in prison all day. You can be sitting behind bars. Kind of the same concept here. They win, cool. It's over. It's not a security. What they did is not illegal, and they can appeal if they want.
Interesting.
So, I'm sure that it'll appeal, but it won't matter. It really won't matter. Now, if the appeal gets over, they overturn the verdict, but that's
Very
years.
unlikely.
That's years down the road, though.
But it's very
We're talking about in the next bull run, and perhaps all of that momentum that it was supposed to have during the last bull run, it'll make it up, right? Because it was held back. It was held back like a smart kid in school.
What?
Like smart kid got held back for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Then he passed all the tests.
Interesting.
That's right. And then some other taking a look at the 24-hour. So as we mentioned, XRP leading the charge. Everything else is pretty flat. Everything else is down for the 24 hours. Stacks down 9%. Might be a good time to get into Stacks if you've been eyeballing it. It is down 20% on the week as well. Mina Protocol down. Optimism. Arbitrum down as well to $1.19. And
picking up
Phantom.
Arbitrum at $1?
No, I'm not touching Arbitrum.
Yeah.
I don't care about governance tokens. What am I going to do? Like, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to be a part of the community. And if I'm going to invest in a layer 2, it's going to be Polygon.
Mm-hmm.
Or Mina Protocol.
Mina's technically a layer 1.
It is. But it is a scaling solution for Ethereum. So is Arbitrum and Optimism. So now, taking a look. Look at this, though. Look at this fear and greed index, bro.
Mofo's getting greedy.
That's right, 64. Yesterday was a 64. Last week was a 66. This is good until you get into the extreme fear. I mean, extreme greed.
Sell it.
Yeah. Then you might.
I don't know if it's a good idea to sell Bitcoin right now, even if it goes up to 50K.
No. Why would you sell Bitcoin? You're at a market bottom essentially, right? Now, sure, we might have we probably printed the bottom at 16,000. We probably will not revisit there. Now, could, sure. But we're at the market bottom. If you look at the Bitcoin chart in the past, and you see, hey, like, would you ever want to sell Bitcoin? Take a look at the all-time here. Would you want to sell Bitcoin at any point in here? Right? I mean, you can make an argument. Like if you can make an argument. Well, you should have sold it here at 10,000, and then you could have bought back in at 6. Like, but you zoom out, like, did you want to sell Bitcoin in this zone right here? Like right here. Would you want to sell Bitcoin? No. And so you don't know if you're here or if you're here. You don't know if you're at 4,000 or you don't know if you're at 9,000. That's where we're at right now. We don't know. Now, this could be the top of the bear market, but the thing is that we're going to be at 6 digits, bro. We're going to be over 100,000 in the next bull run. And does it really matter if you buy or sell between 30 and 20? Like, it doesn't. You're buying, just buy. Unless you're trying to trade a little different, but you're accumulating, now's the best time. You're in the right space. Let's go.
The absolute minimum for Bitcoin by 2025 is 150K. That's my absolute worst case scenario.
150K next bull run?
No. By 2025.
So next bull run?
6 months to a year after having. Yeah.
So next bull run, 150K.
I don't think that's gonna be the top though.
Well, here's the thing. We went from 20,000 to 64,000. So that's almost a 3x. Or yeah, a little over 3x. So I think that a 2x is 120,000. So a 3x would be 180. So I think, 150, I think would make sense. Because after every halving, you get less returns from the previous halving. So if we had 3.1x on one halving to the other, and the same thing you could say, so the one before you topped out at 8,000, and then you had or what was it? What was the top out before?
Last halving went from 3,500 to 70K.
So
after 2020.
So
first halving was like 9,500%. Next halving was about 5,000 or something.
Yeah, it was way.
I just did my script on this video with the filmmates.
Yeah, so we had topped out at 1,000 in 2013, and then from there we had hit basically. Then we hit 20,000. I thought I could have sworn we hit 20,000, right? It doesn't say it here on this chart, but
that was in 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
It says
we hit 20K.
Yeah,
I remember those are probably monthly.
Yeah. I think it was short term, but yeah. So you can say 18,000, 19,000, whatever. So you had essentially a 19x. All right. So, anyways, diminishing returns over time. One bull market to the next, and so this one we had a 3.8 to return from one.
I got
bull
the
market?
numbers. So 2012 halving went from $12 to $1,100. 2016 halving went from $600 to $20K. And then the 2020 halving saw us go from $3,500 to $69K. You're looking at percentage-wise, you're looking at 9,100%, and then 3,300%, and then 1,900%.
You're factoring in bottom to top. I'm factoring in top to top. And either way, I think 150,000 next bull run is, if we're gonna go off of history, is probably where it's gonna line up. However, if there is a big banking collapse, we could see that just get destroyed, bro. Yeah. There's a banking collapse on a global scale, and there's a paradigm shift where, hey, we're gonna be keeping value, like companies, institutions, we're keeping value in Bitcoin. And nation states start doing the same thing. I mean, you could see $500,000 Bitcoin, right? And that's within the next 3 years. If things accelerate and things start to fall apart.
Like I said, dude, 150 is my worst case scenario. So you bought Bitcoin at 20K, you're gonna be sitting pretty.
I don't know. I could see a scenario where you get 120,000. Let's just say I'm just saying that if the world kind of stabilizes, we get the printing, we get inflation comes down back to 2%. And no banks really blow up. This just kind of tapers out in the way that it tapers out from here. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just saying that, hey, we printed our way out of it before. I'm just saying it's a possibility,
my friend. Definitely a possibility, but
yeah. But here's the thing: if we retain world reserve currency as we have for the last 50 years, if all of a sudden there's no big shakeups, and there's no big bank collapses, and you know what, inflation comes back down, I could see it, man. Another couple big crypto collapses, kind of stifling the price of Bitcoin, 120, 130. Still good, man. I mean, think about how much money will be in the system with $130,000 worth of a Bitcoin priced at $130,000. Right? That's nothing to be upset about by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm not upset. You know what I am not upset about either?
What's that?
Is this Bitcoin chart. So beautiful bullish pennant pattern here. By the way, this is on the daily. So this is a bullish pattern, usually around 72 to 76% of the time. This does break to the upside. And where could we possibly target? Well, you can take this and move this up here and take a look. All right, where would we be if we broke out from, let's say, right here? You're looking at about a $35,000 Bitcoin. But what I like to propose is to go to the weekly time frame and throw on the Ichimoku and take a look at, all right, if we do see a big move to the upside, where can we possibly see some resistance? Well, so the top of this cloud right here, we're looking at about $33,648. If we break out, let's say over the next week, then we could see that 37K. So 33,000, 37,000, who knows? But Bitcoin's looking good. Also, what we like to do every Monday is like to forecast or talk about what are the biggest things happening this week in terms of macro. So this is from TradingView. We have China's manufacturing PMI coming out today, or sorry, in 3 days. And then at the end of the month, Europe inflation, Europe unemployment, and then our PCE numbers and personal spending. Those numbers are coming out on the 31st of this month. So do expect some volatility. And then I believe the following week, we're going to get our jobs numbers, the JOLTS and the unemployment rate. And then as far as some big events happening, so today is the day. Polygon, the ZK EVM goes live on the mainnet. We also have Helium migrating to Solana today. And then here's some few other things. If you want this resource for yourself, the website is coinmarketcal.com. So we always get the question asked. Bull market, bear market. Well, we got a video from our man Forrest that we want to share with you guys. So this is about bull market. Is it confirmed? And so let's go ahead and play the video.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 1 week away from confirming new bull market, says an analyst. I believe Rex Capital is the analyst in question here. Bitcoin price action closely mimics past cycles. Now, I am very cautious personally about comparing cycle to cycle, though I do it from time to time, and I do think that it is useful. But note that most cycles are going to be somewhat different. There's things that you can't necessarily account for, such as this bit of price action here, where COVID came in and we had a collapse of price down to $3,000 to $4,000. But the general gist of this for Bitcoin is that it follows 4-year cycle theory, right? Every 4 years, the Bitcoin halving event occurs. You get these large run-ups followed by these large bleed-outs. These bleed-outs take a certain amount of time. And as we get closer and closer to the next halving, right, which you can see kind of outlined by these blue vertical lines here, we start to see people speculate on Bitcoin. Now, what happened last cycle was this large collapse due to COVID. We may or may not have something similar to that. There's an argument to be made that we do have something similar to that potentially occurring in the form of a recession or a banking collapse. So there's certainly the backdrop, the macroeconomic backdrop for something like that occurring again. So me personally, I believe that yes, we are very likely in a bear market rally. Potentially even kicking off the next bull market. I believe I am of the opinion that the bottom for Bitcoin very likely is in. However, note that we can spend quite a bit of time chopping sideways, right? It's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean we're just going to shoot up to new all-time highs before the next Bitcoin halving. So I'm very cautiously optimistic here. I do want to take a peek at the charts here. I've mapped out a couple levels, and I actually wanted to take a peek at these levels last cycle, right, where we had this large deviation. And then once we recovered this key $6,000 support level that we had, what did we do? We pumped straight through it, but we came back and back tested it. And then we took out this next $7,400, $7,500 level. We pumped through it, right, all the way up about a 22-23% pump, all the way up to $9,000. And then what did we do? We back tested it as support. So where we're currently at with Bitcoin is we've broken through this key 25K level. So I've just got these levels marked out very, very cleanly. The psychological levels, 20, 25, and 30, right? 30 is where we've struggled to get traction and actually break through. But we've now turned this prior 25K resistance level into, actually, we haven't turned it into support yet. We've broken through it. And in my opinion, it's very likely that we come back to back test it as support before going higher if we are to go higher. The good news is from our downtrend level, which I've got a slightly different downtrend level than what is outlined in this article. You can see that they are using the monthly candles. I'm personally using the daily candles, and the reason they're getting a slightly different downtrend line is that they're cutting out the wicks on these monthly candles, which to each their own. I'm using these daily candles, which is going to capture the extremities of this price action. And I'll clean this chart up just a little bit so you can see a clearer picture. This is what is known as a bump and run pattern. You break the downtrend, you make support on the back of it, and then you start running. So bump and run, we could my base case, to be honest, is a return to 25K or 26.1K to test as support. And the reason for 26.1K, let me actually remove these drawings, is because it's I believe a key margin pressure level off of our most recent local low, right? Which nailed our resistance perfectly at 29,353. A bounce back down to this 4x long would be at 26.1. Otherwise, we do have quite a bit of support in this 23 to 24.4 region. However, the key level structurally would be 25K. So I personally think it's likely we either find support on 26.1, which I believe is a weekly pivot or a monthly pivot as well, if you're into those pivot levels. Otherwise, 25K being the support level that I'd be looking to hold here. Tuning out quite a bit of news here because it's very uncertain what the narrative for Bitcoin is going to be moving forward. We've seen that these banking collapses, these banks going down, has actually played into a more bullish narrative for Bitcoin. So sitting and trying to play the news right now, I don't think is the right game to play. I think we just need to look at the technicals, look at the price action, and we are very much in an uptrend. However, off of this last move, we're quite overextended, and a little bit of consolidation and pullback before finding a bounce or finding some support is probably in the cards. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was enjoyable. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Is there any way, Robin, we ask this question all the time, is there any way the bottom is not in with what we're seeing with the banks? Like if you were to put percentage,
I'd be hard pressed to say the bottom's not in. And the reason being is that, one, if the banks collapse, I feel like people are going, we got a taste of it, right? We got a taste of it. Banks started having some shakiness to them. SVB couldn't facilitate withdrawals. FDIC comes in, bails them out. And we saw people flocking to Bitcoin. And so I think we're going to get that times 10, times 100 if this thing gets out of control and the dominoes keep falling. And so on one hand, I would say the only thing keeping us from getting down to 16K again would be some gigantic economic event, something happened with the legacy markets to pull us down. And the only thing I can think of is the banking crisis right now. There's always outside factors that you can't predict. Nobody knew that there was going to be a global pandemic in 2020. And so if anybody was saying that's coming, is going to affect the price of Bitcoin, they were a prophet. But realistically, we don't know. We don't know what kind of wars are going to happen, what kind of global events. Mother Nature is very unpredictable now. We had a tornado in LA. So I don't know. So I would never dismiss it, write it off. I guess if you're asking for percentage, I'd say 15% chance we could go back down and test the 16K mark. Other than that, I think banking crisis would just accelerate Bitcoin adoption. And I think that's the only thing I'm seeing on the horizon right now.
Bottom is in, bro.
Yeah.
Bottom is in. Everyone's like, well, Binance, you're getting sued, blah, blah.
It could. We could go back and test it. I just think it's unlikely. I think 15%. I mean, you got to throw a percentage on it. Where would you be at?
2%.
2%?
Yeah. I'm confident, bro. I feel confident, man. Plus, how can we sell our crypto in the U.S. if there's no off ramps?
Okay, all right. Let's ask the chat here what y'all think. All right, because I think you're a little. 2%'s a little. That's a little iffy there. Chat. If you're over 10%, like yeah, boy, I don't know why I'm getting excited about that. If you're over 10% on us going back down to 16,000, put a 1 in the chat. If you're on David's side and you think there's less than a 10% chance, even less than a 5% chance, put a 2 in the chat. Kind of curious to see where you guys line
over 10%, less than 10%.
Over 10? Over 10 is a 1. Under 10 is a 2.
While you're doing that, I want to do this.
What's that?
I want to talk about Nasdaq.
Why do you say it like that?
Nasdaq Prescott. So we did a poll. Would you trust Nasdaq to custody your Bitcoin? So Nasdaq says institutional appetite in crypto is steady as it plots push into custody and trading. Not just custody, but also trading. I think Brokioshi put in the chat earlier something about someone who owns Nasdaq is Gary Gensler's friend or something. I don't know. But Brokioshi, please feel free to put that back in the comments again, and I'll read it.
And speaking of comments, pretty much split down the middle on these 2s and 1s.
Bottom's in, bro.
So maybe it's like actually at 8%. Like you average the 2, you know.
My boy Devin said bottom is in 98%, maybe 18K, 2% left. Nasdaq is betting its established reputation will help it secure a strong place in the world of crypto. The 52-year-old exchange operator is waiting on approval from the New York Department of Financial Services, the same NYDFS that shut down that sued KuCoin, that shut down Southern Bank of Signature Bank. They did a lot of things, and so they're waiting for their approval. Will they get it? Being as their Nasdaq, probably they will. And by the end of June, this is when they're expecting to get an answer to begin offering custody to clients. This is a quote from Matt Savarese. He's Italian, right, Rocco? Matt Savarese. Anyways, he's the head of strategy for digital assets for Nasdaq. He said, quote, trust had started to break down a little bit, and they really needed that trust player to come in. I have been pounding the damn table at this narrative here.
You leave that table alone.
Table. I said this on Wendy O. I said this on everyone's show. They're using the FTX debacle and everything in crypto, and they're degrading trust in our centralized exchanges in our industry, and they're going to push it to banks. And it looks like Nasdaq's going to get a piece of that as well. Mr. Matt continued by saying, we are on the right path. Having that foundational aspect of custody was absolutely critical. And we see institutions, they're not even backing away from the space. They're actually looking for players like us to say, great, they know how to deliver. They've done it for 50 years. They're innovative in regulatory environment as well. And then finally he said, the next step for us is execution and liquidity services. And then we build our anti-financial crime so we can monitor this throughout the ecosystem. Robin, would you trust Nasdaq to custody your crypto?
If I had to go outside of the crypto universe, sure. Yeah, I would. I feel confident. I mean, they're Nasdaq. They're not going to go under, right? I mean, I guess you can't ever say nobody would ever go under, but they're essentially a market. So, yeah, they're not going anywhere. And if they would custody crypto, I trust them. But I still would rather custody myself. I mean, it just naturally makes sense. So,
is this bullish or bearish?
Oh, it's super bullish, man. Here's the thing, man. I always hear, especially from other creators, all this like, we don't want you in our space. We don't want you in our space. What do you want, man? You want a handful of nerds sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons, trading Bitcoin, or you want this thing to be the financial powerhouse where perfect money replaces old trash? I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, you see the potential. Let's not be greedy, man. Let's let the world in on what we got here, man. And not to mention manipulation and whale games is harder to execute when there's a larger market cap. It's like how about this? Here's a good example. Can a billionaire, let's just say a run-of-the-mill billionaire in India, can he easily affect the price of dollar and what it's trading for compared to another currency? It'd be extremely difficult, right? Mm-hmm. It would be damn near impossible. Not to say it's impossible. You need a massive amount of capital coordinated in a certain way, potential to lose a ton of money just to move the price of a dollar compared to another currency by a couple pennies, if that. And so that is because of how large and how big the market cap is, the dollar. And so the smaller Bitcoin is, the smaller gold is. The gold is manipulated, but it's less manipulated than Bitcoin. Why? Because it has a larger market cap. Dollar is not easily manipulated because it's the biggest. And so if we get Bitcoin to get adopted by everybody, it becomes more stable, there's less volatility. And essentially, the biggest gripe on Bitcoin is, oh, it's so volatile. You can't use it because the price is always up and down. Hey, at some point, Nasdaq starts listing this. You know, Nasdaq custodies it. We get the ETF. The US stops BSing and starts adopting crypto and using it and backing it and making it an integral part of our financial system. And eventually it's going to come. Now, my thing is the US will be a leader in crypto.
Really?
Yeah. They're going to do like they have with other industries.
Do you think that can happen under President Joe Biden and company?
No.
I agree.
So what's going to happen is that they're going to try to stifle the adoption of crypto here in the States. It's going to go offshore. All of a sudden, it's going to get massive adoption. It's going to grow. And then we're going to try to reel it back in. and it's going to be a little late. Very similar if you guys are familiar with the steel and production. We've kind of had the same thing here in the States. We kind of created this through the Industrial Revolution, all these different techniques and how to build. And anyways, then we just let all that innovation go elsewhere. And then all of a sudden you want to bring it back. Same thing with the semiconductors. With Intel, Texas Instruments, they were, AMD, all of that. They were building here in the States. And then they let it all go offshore. And now what do? The infrastructure bill, they're trying to reel it back in. Well, the same thing's going to happen with this. We're stifling. We're going to let crypto go and build overseas. And then all of a sudden, they're going to be like, crap, man. These other countries are getting a lot of prosperity, making a lot of money, a lot of transactions. People are leaving the dollar, and it's because of crypto and what they're building. And then we're going to try to reel it back in. And then it's going to be a little late. We're going to get behind the ball. But they just wised up and they adopted this damn thing now.
Not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen, but that's what needs to happen. There are some politicians out here that are beating the drum to get some progressive crypto and Bitcoin regulation. You know what? Whatever happened to that damn executive order where we wanted, what happened to that, man?
What do you mean?
What happened to that executive? Biden was like, we want to keep innovation here. We don't want to stifle. Bitcoin's here to stay. They talked about it having a $3 trillion market cap at one point. They don't want to lose.
Would you like me to read you the definition of a politician, Robin?
Here's the thing. Yeah, you know what? What's coming up in 2024? Another election year.
That's
okay,
right,
another election year, and at some point. Not even at some point. This is what's going to happen. Next election year, there's going to be people campaigning and people are going to grab the microphone and be like, hey. They're going to say, hey, look.
Or you can have
what's
drop
your
the
stance
microphone.
on crypto? What's your stance on Bitcoin? Yeah. And you better pick a line. And you know what? You picked the wrong side. You know what? 40% of Americans had exposure. 40% of adults had exposure to crypto. Now, a lot of them have exited. Most of them just kind of, bought some meme coins or whatever. But it doesn't matter. Adoption is coming. People are here to stay. And, it's a bipartisan issue. And if you fight against it, you're going to lose voters on both sides. And you know what? These elections are won by what? 500 votes? 300 votes? 7,000 votes? That is common. Arizona, Virginia, here in Nevada. And so, you know what? When it's time for election, we're going to be out here beating the drum. And if you're not crypto friendly, we're going to put your ass on blast, man.
That's right.
That's right, man. And you know what? This is a swing state. And then here in Nevada, Sin City Crypto, we ain't playing around, man.
That's right.
We ain't playing around.
Hey, how much coffee did you have today?
It's a pre-workout and coffee.
Wow. Why don't you give some love to the chat, Robin?
So... if you're new here, say hello so that way we can drop an whole lot back at you. We got Slappy, Big Watch Dude, Devin C, Big Green Sun 9, Rob S. We also got Gonzo up in here. And then to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Robin, I'd like to move on to Changpeng Zhao and Binance, as they have been sued by the Commodities Future Trading Commission over U.S. regulatory.
Do we have a boo sound effect? Do we have boos? Let's add the. Okay, we have the trumpet. There we go. All right.
The United States Commodities Futures Trading Commission has filed suit against Binance and CEO Changpeng CZ Zhao for trading violations. Crypto exchange has been the focus of an investigation since 2021. Binance has been under investigation also by the IRS and federal prosecutors who have examined their adherence to anti-money laundering rules. We have a few clips via Twitter from the lawsuit. So this is from BlockBytes.com on Twitter. In the lawsuit filed today, the CFTC clearly states Bitcoin, ETH, and Litecoin are all commodities. So that's listed here. And here from Bitcoin Archive, CFTC alleges Binance traded on its own platform with 300 accounts directly or indirectly owned by CZ. This is kind of intriguing. So and this is directly from the lawsuit filed. During the relevant period, Binance has traded on its own platform through approximately 300 house accounts that are all directly or indirectly owned by CZ.
Real quick, I just want to interrupt real quick. Rocco, can you pull up my laptop? You have CZ trading on all his accounts here. So as you can see. Okay, sorry.
All right, hold on. Which CZ do you like better? Make it bigger?
This is a good look right here, man. I like this one.
I kind of like the one to the bottom right, the middle one.
The long hair, the Keanu Reeves look.
Yeah, that was dope. Looks like a beast. So yeah. And then we have this tweet. This is from Watcher Guru. Binance does not disclose to its. Here, let me make it a little smaller here. Rocco, can we actually go full screen on the laptop? Because there we go. Binance does not disclose to its customers that Binance is trading on its own markets in its terms of use or elsewhere. Consistent with its apparent attempt to keep its proprietary trading activity on its own markets top secret, Binance has refused to respond to investigative subpoenas seeking information. And then it goes on for the 300 house accounts. And then we have this. Over the last 24 hours, over 1,700 Bitcoin has flowed out of Binance, which is the by far leader if you take the entire group as a whole. So, Robin, we throwing up the 4 like CZ said? Is this just FUD or or should we be worried? If you got money on Binance, should you be worried? No?
It's concerning, but I think it'll be fine. I don't know. Hey, are you surprised by any of this? Are you surprised that there's manipulation and price action and multiple accounts and dumping and getting sued, exchanges getting sued and investigations, and SEC a couple weeks ago saying that can't sell BUSD or mint it. None of this is a surprise, man. This is what exchanges do. And until there's regulation, until there's clear-cut regulation, until there's a guideline, this is what they're going to do. You give people billions of dollars and you say, hey, you can make a few more $1 billion by doing X, Y, and Z, and nobody will know it. They're going to do it. And you know what? Everybody hails Binance as the golden child and never make any mistake or do anything fraudulent. You're sadly mistaken, man. They are a business, a cutthroat business at that. They straight up took out FTX. Not to say that they didn't deserve it, but they saw an opportunity. They stepped right on that one.
I want to shout out Dion in here. Diani or whatever. Said, this is fake. It's literally a lawsuit that was filed. So it's not fake, okay? And he said, this is why this channel gets 200 views. Well, thank you for being one of those 200 views. We really appreciate it. Is it BS of what they're suing him for? Sure, you can argue that. But it's not a fake lawsuit. It's a real lawsuit. He's going to have to go and answer to these. Or who knows? Maybe they're going to shut him down here. I don't know what the repercussions are. But if it's true, that's been the one thing, right? FTX was trading against his customers. There's been other exchanges trading against their customers. So, I don't know. What's going to come out of this real lawsuit?
A lot of FUD in the markets and a lot of FUD in the chat today, man. The hell?
No idea.
My Gatorade top.
Let's move on to some exciting news. Polygon has officially launched their ZK, Zero Knowledge Ethereum virtual machine on the mainnet. And Mr. Vitalik Buterin will initiate the very first transaction. How fitting. This is a source from CoinSpeaker. The Polygon ZK EVM mainnet beta went live on Monday today, March 27th, facilitating the deployment of smart contracts with increased finality and reduced costs. One of the main attractions of the ZK EVM is its lower gas fees for dApp users. Using zero-knowledge proofs also sees ZK EVM inherit Ethereum's network security while also facilitating enhanced developer usage. Polygon said it would make all aspects of its ZK EVM open source, and Vitalik will initiate the first transaction, and it will be live streamed. So far, around 50 companies seek to build using Polygon ZK technology.
I'm sorry. This is good, but I'm sorry, man. Nobody wants to watch the live stream of
What if
Vitalik
there's cool
wearing his weird outfit,
This is gonna be cool
like
dance.
hitting a button and looking at a computer screen, right? I mean, are you gonna watch it?
Yeah.
Want to do like a live event,
No.
a reaction video?
Yeah. All jokes aside, though, man.
Pretty big.
ETH's biggest thing has been it's not fast, right? It's too expensive. And now we got zero knowledge coming in here. We got Polygon, we got these layer 2s, Arbitrum, Optimism. So Sandeep, the founder of Polygon Labs, was on Crypto Banter, and he said he sees where there's only one layer 1 and everything runs on that layer 1. And he said the only layer 1 will be Ethereum. If ETH keeps growing and we have every single, essentially something like a ZK or ETH can do everything. Do you agree with what Sandeep is saying, or is there room for Ethereum to have a competitor or two of its size? Or do you think everything's just going to run through ETH? If there's no negatives to running on ETH, why wouldn't anyone run on ETH, right? What are your thoughts there?
It's gonna be so many different crypto projects that all have different adoptions, and you can look at, okay, here in the tech world, you got Apple and Microsoft, right? Then you can go over to India, and they probably have 5 or 6 different companies that we're not readily exposed to, that everybody uses there. Same thing in China, same thing in Africa, same thing in Europe. Think of cell phone providers, right? You have AT&T, T-Mobile here in the States, Sprint, Verizon. You go to Mexico, you see 5 different companies never heard of, right? They're all powering the latest supercomputers that are in people's pockets, which is the phone. And so what's going to be powering the financial infrastructure is going to be these web-based programs, blockchain, and each country is going to have different blockchains that partner with different companies in their area. And so here in the US, it might be dominant in Ethereum, and Ethereum might be also dominant in a handful of other countries, but there's going to be countries that use other operating systems in the same way that we have that now with other technologies. And so this whole thing that ETH and Bitcoin is going to be, that's going to be it, and all the other altcoins are going to fall off, you're mistaken. You're mistaken. I'm sorry. That's like saying there's going to be one website provider. Like, hey, man, it's going to be Google. That's it, man. If you try to make money on the internet, that's it. Google. That's all.
Are you saying Sandeep is off his rocker?
IBM and Google, man. Like, it's like somebody in 98 is saying, look, man, the only everything else is going to be a scam. Imagine somebody sitting in 1998 like, look, man, I can see to the future, and
What's Google's dominance over the search engines? Like 90%?
Yeah.
Can you say the same could be for ETH?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Google also, there's other areas of the internet they don't have dominance on. And so, sure, Ethereum might be the go-to layer 1 smart contract platform that facilitates X, Y, and Z, the same way that Google is the #1 search platform. But there's millions of other apps that, Airbnb, they cornered that market. Uber, they cornered another market. Walmart, they cornered another one. Amazon, they cornered another one. And so you're going to have different chains that corner different parts of the market. That's what we're going to have, man. We're going to have a diverse ecosystem of thousands of different crypto chains. Some are going to have major dominance. Bitcoin and Ethereum should still be at the top.
96% Google's dominance. 96%. Interesting. It's something when I heard Sandeep talk about that, I kind of started thinking, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not gonna buy into that. I don't think anything's perfect. Even with all the ZKs and whatever else you want to bring into the ecosystem, there's gonna be a layer 1 that does something way better than Ethereum does. And if you can go directly to the layer 1 and have the same capabilities as a layer 2 or layer 3, you would want to do that, right? Less right? The less layers, the less risk you have to something going wrong.
But the layers help it scale. And so at its fundamental, it's really just what the user, what the devs want to build on it. So, I mean, that's it. It's where the devs going to build. And it doesn't, at the end of the day.
Well, they're building on Ethereum.
Yeah, right now, but they're also, building on Polygon, which I know is layered on Ethereum essentially, or leverages Ethereum. Mm-hmm. And they're also building on other, they're building on Cardano. They were building on Binance. I'm sure they still are. And there are a lot of platforms there. Solana as well. It's taking a step back. And with the next bull run coming and more adoption coming in and more users plugging in, you're going to see more devs building on other projects. And Ethereum isn't the most efficient. So people are going to look at competition. That's just how it is, man. Mm.
It's an interesting talking point. All right, let's move on to some more possible biggest news. Amazon drops the NFT bombshell. An official Amazon email teases digital tokens and a platform gallery. So the e-commerce giant Amazon has officially jumped on the NFT bandwagon. An email sent out to at least one customer suggests. According to the email, Amazon has already launched some type of digital token that can be stored in a gallery. The digital tokens also appear to be something that can be bought and sold on the platform, with Amazon having the ability to lock and unlock the tokens to make them available for trading. Users will need to, quote, register as a reseller before the NFTs can be listed for sale. And then I also have a video of Andy Jassy, who is a CEO, talking on Squawk Box CNBC about this very thing just a couple years ago.
It's hard to get through an interview without mentioning the word crypto. As a payment platform, and you actually have a huge payment platform unto itself. How do you think about crypto today?
Well, I think it's an emerging area, obviously, and there's a lot of it's very interesting, and there's a lot of discussion about it. And I think NFTs have really started to take off. And do
you own any?
I don't own any NFTs myself.
Any Bitcoin?
I don't have Bitcoin myself.
Come on,
Andy. I think I expect that NFTs will continue to grow very significantly. We're not probably close to adding crypto as a payment mechanism in our retail business, but I do believe over time that you'll see crypto become bigger, and it's possible.
Could you see yourself selling NFTs?
Yeah, I think it's possible down the road.
Well, it's not just possible. It looks like it's going to happen. So, Robin, you know what? Before we talk about this, can you give my friend Bully Barry an hola, Robin?
Who's that?
Bully Barry.
I know.
Oh.
All right, so we do got some new people in the chat. If you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We got Riley Bean, Emin Perry, K, and Bully Barry. Cryptophasia, Parik, S. Patel. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
So, Robin, Amazon, largest online retailer in the world.
What?
I think there are, right? Alibaba's number 2, I believe.
Well, you can buy that printed art on Amazon, right? You can get that little flower. It's already framed, be at your house for 24 hours, and then you put it in your wall there. Now, the same with some digital art now, huh? Right.
I just, I don't know. What do you think about this? I feel like everyone's new thing is an NFT marketplace. I feel like...
okay, let me ask you this question. Walmart?
What about
Walmart?
Walmart?
They generate a lot of money selling them tires, right?
A lot.
They make a lot of money doing that nail salon there, right?
A lot.
That McDonald's inside of Walmart's always busy,
Cash
right?
money.
And you know what?
It's Subway
Amazon
now.
gonna sell. They're gonna sell you that extra long USB charge cable, and they also gonna take their cash and make their money by selling NFTs as well. It's what they do. And not to mention, Amazon is a digital marketplace already. You go on the internet and you buy it there, and they ship it to your house. Why not buy your goods digitally there, right? You got the Amazon bookstore. You can, obviously you can get your digital copy of your books, Amazon Music, Amazon
Audible.
Video.
Audible.
So this is already their space, right? They got a gigantic catalog of digital media, and if we think that crypto is going to move over to, or if digital content is going to move over to the NFT space, and it would make sense, right? It makes sense to get into the NFTs now, right? If we think that when you buy and sell your movies, right, or when you buy your movies, it's going to be in an NFT format, right? You're going to own the royalties, so that way you can have it forever. You think that's coming eventually?
I think, and I did this. If you haven't watched our top 3 altcoin video for 2023, I talked about this in terms of the music industry. And if you can track sales via blockchain and you own the digital rights, right, via NFTs for your music, man, it is going to be a game changer for artists and musicians. It's coming, man. It's coming.
So if it's coming, don't you think it would logically make sense for Amazon to monetize that and maybe be at the forefront of it? Because this is their space, right?
Amazon ain't stupid.
Yeah.
That's literally, they have people that work there. That is literally their job.
Is to not be stupid?
No, it's to figure out where, like, to look ahead 10, 20 years. Where is this company going to be? What are the trends?
Here's an interesting thought. Imagine if you're listening to a song in your car, right? And you're driving your homie around. And he's like, man, I love this track. I'm like, oh, I own it. Or, I bought a copy of it. I'll tell you what, I'll sell you it. And imagine that person's like, okay, cool. And so anyways, you send them a link or you give them you show a QR for the song you're listening. He scans it, buys it, you get 10% royalty for selling it. Kind of cool, right? I mean, you still, you would get incentivized by getting somebody else, kind of like a link in the description, which you guys can support Sin City Crypto by going down in the description and clicking some of our links.
Click the links.
But just imagine if you're doing the same thing, you're just riding with your homies, like, yo, I like this song. You're like, all right, cool, scan this, buy it, and I'll get 10% off of it too. I get a rebate. Or maybe I get a month free on a streaming service or something.
Man, we're in exciting times, right? And of course, mainstream media will not report this stuff because it does not fit the narrative, right? What sells? Money sells, fear sells, sex sells. And with crypto right now, no, seriously, no, honestly, it's a saying, it's true. Those things sell. They sell. Mm-hmm. And right now,
nobody buying from your ass.
With everything going on in our industry, fear is selling. And reporting on something like this would not sell because people want to be fed what they want to be fed. And that is crypto is bad, blah, 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 blah.
Real quick. We have the convention for the real estate in town. So I was out on the strip. I ran into some prototypical real estate agents, some ladies with big ass purses. And anyways, right now I'm like, hey, y'all here for this convention? They're like, yeah. I'm like, NFTs, that's the future, metaverse. They all just had this blank stare, like, what, what? One lady looks at the other one, she's like, what's a metaverse? And I'm just like, oh, y'all gonna be the old money, I'm telling you. Be over there still listing houses, trying to walk people around. Somebody else is gonna have a drone. That house is gonna be NFT. They're gonna be doing a tour of the house with like VR goggles.
Imagine having a Carfax for your house. Imagine when going to buy a home, you don't need an appraiser. You don't need a real estate agent. You don't need a title company. You don't need a mortgage lender. How much money are you going to save and how quickly can that transaction happen? When everything is on the blockchain, I'm telling you guys, like, you are in the right place. I know for me personally, my first investment was to make money, right? And I'm sure a majority of you, if not all of you, did the same thing. And then eventually you stay in the community long enough, you start learning, you start understanding, you start researching, and your knowledge grows and you're like, damn, dude, this is more than just about money. Look at what it's going to change. It's going to make everything so much better. And so very exciting. Like I said, love them or hate them, we need mainstream adoption. If this is going to be our outlet to the traditional financial system, we do need players like Amazon to come in and at least drive the narrative forward, if not help build some of the infrastructure that we need. Speaking of things that we needed a victory, and it looks like we got one, as Do Kwon will face 8 counts of fraud for the Luna collapse. Source from Daily Huddle. Federal prosecutors in New York have filed charges against Terraform Labs co-founder Do Kwon. He faces 8 counts, which includes conspiracy to defraud, 2 counts of commodities fraud, 2 counts of securities fraud, 2 counts of wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud and engage in market manipulation. This is a statement from the documents. The defendant shall forfeit to the United States any and all property, real and personal, that constitutes or is derived from proceeds traceable to the commission of said offenses, including but not limited to a sum of money in U.S. currency representing the amount of proceeds traceable to the commission of said offenses. Now, we know the Luna Foundation guard sold a crap load of their Bitcoin prior to going under. We all thought it was going to defend the peg. It wasn't. It was not going to defend the peg. CBS News reports that Montenegro's police apprehended Doe while attempting to board a flight to Dubai using a fake Costa Rican passport. Both the U.S. and South Korea, which is where Do Kwon is from, they are looking for his extradition. So it'll be interesting to see who gets dibs on Doe.
Make me laugh. Puerto Rico passport. Mr. Ricky Martin, can you please step aside for a second?
Ricky Juan
Why are
Martin.
they like looking at his passport like, you look kind of Asian, man? Puerto Rican?
Ricky Martin. It's actually Costa Rica, not Puerto Rico. Anyways,
Right.
my question
You
is
Latin? American?
Here's my question, man. Here's my genuine question. Okay, I'm not saying Do Kwon shouldn't be charged. I'm not saying Do Kwon shouldn't be, face the music. Why is Alex Mashinsky not have any charges against him? Why is he not?
You leave,
The guy
Alex
it lives in the U.S. His company, I don't know. I don't think his company was domiciled in the U.S., but they had offices in the U.S. Like, if you're gonna go after one, go after them all, bro. Get Mashinsky in there too. But I mean, do you agree?
SEC ain't got time for that mess.
Yo, they got time. Trust me. They got plenty of time. When it comes to crypto, they got time. I don't have much comment to say about this. It's just, wanted to keep you guys up on the news. You got any comment on this, Rob, before I move on?
No, I do want to say shout out to Stardog and Crypto No Tick. Hola! Welcome to City Crypto.
So, guys. All right, let's move on. So, MicroStrategy. Do you remember, Robin, when they leveraged their Bitcoin to get that loan to buy more Bitcoin from Silvergate?
Mm-hmm.
And-
$1 billion, right?
$1 billion. And do you also remember the conversation? Like, what does that mean when Silvergate went under? We have news of what that meant. And that meant that they settled their $205 million debt with Silvergate and shored up their Bitcoin. Not only that, they bought an additional 6,455 Bitcoin for $150 million, bringing their total
Can we get a DJ sound?
Bitcoin. Bringing their total Bitcoin holdings to 138,955 BTC, over $4.1 billion at an average of just a smidgelet under 30K, $29,817. But the beauty of it is they got a 22. That's funny. Talladega said, come on, Rob, butcher his name, please. So is that Fernando? The movie Fernando the Bull? Yeah. I think his name is Fernando or Ferdinand. Ferdinand, not Fernando. Fernando. They got a 22% discount on the loan they paid back. By paying off the 2-year loans, 2-year loan, MicroStrategy freed up 35,000 Bitcoin previously held as collateral. And again, they got a 22% discount. So, everyone said, MicroStrategy, bad idea. What are you doing? Terrible, stupid, rat poison, crypto crapo, said Charlie Munger.
Crypto Crapo?
That's what Charlie Munger calls
Did
it,
he
crypto
really?
crapo, yeah.
What about Creepy Doe?
Creepy Dojo. So, MicroStrategy, man, they own 1 out of every 150 Bitcoin.
Can we get Sailor on the show?
Yeah, I'll work on that right away. Man.
I've been messaging this dude. He's on
Michael Saylor,
he's on every channel but
Michael
ours, man.
Saylor, you retweeted our Michael Saylor Halloween, bro. Come on, man.
If anybody knows Sailor, can you
We're
tell
eventually-
him,
Michael
tell him,
Saylor
tell him to
will-
get your ass on.
Mark my words, Michael will be on our show. I guarantee it one day. One day. Hopefully sooner than later. But man, it's gonna pay off, and they're right at that break-even level. And so I don't know. Well, what are your thoughts, Robin? You think if your micro strategy is 140,000 Bitcoin enough, are you going to continue to buy?
Is that a real question?
It's a real question.
If that, I feel like if Michael Saylor is walking down the street, found a penny, he'd pick it up and then
Buy crypto.
and then buy crypto with it. He'd be like, I just bought 17 satoshis with this penny.
Would he be wrong for doing that? Probably not.
No, there's no right. That's not fake by any means, right?
What fake?
His outright just sheer passion
Hell
and
no.
absolute love for
The
Bitcoin. I mean,
guy
that's not fake, right? I mean,
bro, how many 4-hour sit down interviews has Michael Saylor done just talking about Bitcoin?
okay, so in that case, it's yeah. I mean, he's gonna expend every dollar that he can get his hands on into buying more Bitcoin.
By the way, if you guys thought Michael Saylor was good last year, wait till this Halloween. It's gonna be better. It's gonna be way better. All right. So there's that news. Here's this news. Actually, what news do I want to cover? Let's cover ICP. So internet computer draws developer frenzy and social attention. Here's why. Source from AMB Crypto. According to sentiment data, the number of developers working on the ICP internet computer has steadily increased over the past 3 years. Additionally, there's been a rise in developer activity despite a brief decline in December. The upward trend continued as of this writing, and it was around 403 developers. Moreover, the ICP internet computer has been creating a buzz, which is evident in its social volume, beginning significant traction on social media platforms like Twitter. So we can argue, or not argue, but we can, figure out, hey, why is it pumping? All right, you got this Bitcoin layer 2 narrative. You have the ordinals thing blowing up the spot. We know ICP does layer 2 theory or layer 2 solutions for Bitcoin. We covered that in our video, in the 3 top altcoin video, which you haven't seen, you should go check it out. But Robin, I argued that ICP could be possibly one of the best investments to make in terms of how far off its all-time high it is and what they're doing in the space. Would you agree?
Their all-time high is not real. That was FTX, Alameda Research, listing their token, taking advantage of market makers, dumping the price, making a bunch of money. And so their price, they came out at like $600 or something stupid like that, $200. Anyways, way off of their all-time high, trading at $4 right now. There's no way it even sniffs $100. I mean, look at the chart here. Yeah.
What is that? Is that the all-time chart?
Yeah. Remember it came out?
Yeah.
I think it listed. I remember seeing it on Coinbase for like
$600.
$600. Yeah. I'm like, what is this? Like, stop. And then I think this is probably more realistic here.
Well, we know.
If you were to,
we know what Sam did to this project.
Yeah. And so I think this is probably more in line to where you would retrace back to. I think that $60 is probably more
$60.
Yeah.
That's a $4.
Yeah. Yeah, 15x. I think that's more likely scenario.
And what is ICP number what? It's top 50, right?
It is on the market cap list number 41. Yeah.
Hey, bruh, 15x, 150 or 1500%.
I think that's just kind of where the market will move. I think it can slide back into, say, the top 25, and then with the rest of the market rallying on the next bull run, seeing the market cap of crypto get to about 10 trillion, I'd put that price target back on the table. $80, $100, $80 to $100 at $100 at max, but I think $60 to $80 would be my go-to there.
which, like I said, would be good.
But they have a lot of partnerships, man. They could fill the void for Solana, right? A lot of institutions, a lot of catering to like the big tech names, the Amazon style. I know that Amazon is not partnered with them. Who did Amazon partner with before? Was it Polygon? No, it was AWS partner with Polygon. Yeah, I mean, I could see an explosion in ICP. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. I was kind of waiting to see where the price settles in at. Maybe now that we're talking about it, maybe I'll try to find a good entry point.
You know what? Since we're on ICP, why don't we go ahead and
because the lowest ICP has been is $3.50, and so it's not far off of there, man. I mean, you don't get much better buying opportunity. I mean, it kind of
invest with caution.
So,
yeah, Rocco, pull him out. Let's watch a little bit. ICP is a new platform for executing smart contracts on a decentralized blockchain. It allows developers to create autonomous pieces of software called canisters that can run on the blockchain, providing a tamper-proof and unstoppable way to run applications and businesses. The platform eliminates many of the costs, risks, and complexities associated with developing and...
Is that Nayib Bukele right there? On the right?
It does look like him.
President of El Salvador in our video, bro.
You know, what do we need to get Nayib to run for president here besides being born here? Unstoppable way to run applications and businesses. The platform eliminates many of the costs, risks, and complexities associated with developing and deploying modern applications and provides an alternative to the consolidation driven by large tech companies that are monopolizing the internet. But this isn't why I believe ICP has a potential to gain value in 2023. The biggest factor to ICP being on this list is their potential to bring utility to the Bitcoin network. ICP has integrated with the Bitcoin network at the protocol level, allowing canister smart contracts to create Bitcoin addresses and send and receive Bitcoin directly. So, hey man, ICP. If this Bitcoin narrative, keeps going, hey, Bitcoin's not just store of value. We can build on it. And, who knows? Yeah, definitely go check the video. It was a good one. It was one of my favorite ones. I know I say that about every video, but I love every video. All right, let's move on from ICP to G7. They are looking to collaborate on tighter crypto regulation. Did I already cover this? I feel like I already covered this. I think I briefly talked about it, but I didn't cover it. All right,
No,
let's cover it.
Yeah,
So G7, 7 biggest democracies for tougher regulations on crypto around the world. That is happening in Japan in May. Together, Japan, US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, and the EU will outline a cooperative strategy to increase crypto transparency and enhance consumer protections, as well as address potential risks to the global financial system. Parallel efforts towards standards for digital assets are being made by the Financial Stability Board, the IMF, and the BIS. The group of the 20 biggest economies of the world, collectively known as the G20, announced in February during a meeting in India. The recommendations on regulation, supervision, and oversight of global stablecoins, crypto activity, and markets are scheduled to be delivered by July and September. Is this, now, I talk about this all the time, right? I talk about, all right, when the U.S. gets out of line, they want to ban crypto. Hey, there's 200-something other countries. If these mofos get together and they can somehow agree to some sort of something with maybe not banning, but making it extremely difficult, is this a real threat to cryptocurrency, Rob?
I'd like to say no, but I mean, it could be a threat to short-term price action. Bitcoin's still going to operate as normal. Still going to mine blocks every 8 to 10 minutes, and I ain't going nowhere. And that's it, man. You can try to stifle it. You can have this 7 powerful nations. You can set our industry back a little bit. But where you stagnate, it will prosper elsewhere. So, kind of concerning though. But here's the thing: is there any sweeping G7 regulation or proposals that has fundamentally changed the world, right? They've come out and said, hey, everybody needs to have electric cars. And then they're like, hey, by 2020, have an electric car. They're rolling all that back now, right? All that's kind of went out the window. They're like, yeah, about that. I don't know if we're actually going to still do that thing. That whole green narrative, maybe it's a little too ambitious at the moment. And so if they were to say, hey, we're going to try to stifle crypto, they're going to see it flourishing in other countries. They're going to roll it back. So I'm not concerned, realistically. Short term, sure. You know what? Narrative will come out. G7's against crypto. They came up with some proposal, regulation, some pact, and we'll all sign it. And yeah, sure, whatever. But crypto's still going to be crypto. It's still going to build.
Crypto.
Show. Real quick, I also got a few new people. We got Dr. Death 20 Mining, Ty Guy, and Oh Man 13. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Guys, we're done.
Is it?
Benito!
Man, we just got the all-time high, 240 people. All show high.
You know our all-time high is 1,300.
Oh, yeah?
That was when FTX started crashing. That was a stream I did by myself, too. Go figure, right? Guys, Rob will be on ATB today at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go show some love. Drop some olas. Drop some +1s, some +2s as well. Also, go check out our merch store run by none other than the Don. He's giving you an offer you cannot refuse, which is great merchandise for a great price. Also, if you are a Whale member, you do get 10% off. So go check that out. Also, follow us on social media. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all the places. Go join our community around Discord. And finally, you want to support the channel, there's plenty of ways. It's in the description of this video. With that being said, Rocco! Friends, family, friends, and family. Family, friends. We thank you guys so much for joining us. What a day, what a way to kick off the week. Make sure to come back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another amazing live show. We have a special guest joining us to do some technical analysis. Until then, you guys, we love you. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we'll see you tomorrow. Until then,